Louisiana Landmarks Society 2020 Awards for Excellence in Historic Preservation. Made possible in part by GBX Group, LLC. Tuna Construction. And the generous support of the sponsors and patrons who work with us through uncertain times to ensure that these award-winning projects get the recognition they deserve. Thank you.
New Orleans, I can only talk about New Orleans, but it wouldn't be New Orleans without its architectural heritage. I mean, it wouldn't be the same city. I don't know what it would be, but it certainly wouldn't be what it is.
I love New Orleans architecture. I think it's what draws me here, what keeps me here, and what keeps me happy. And I hope we can continue to save and revitalize our neighborhoods. I believe that there's a lot to fight for here. There's always a struggle between the old and the new, and what can we do to protect what we have while progressing into the new?
It begins with little nuggets of understanding about the inherent beauty and truth of old things, and recognizing them for what they are, antiques that have survived, and that you suddenly have a feeling of responsibility for something that you understand. If you just pass by something and don't look at it, you won't take ownership, spiritual ownership of that. But once you begin to understand it and see its needs, then the desire rises to help it out and to help out the neighborhood that it's in, not just some inanimate object, but the area and the people that are affected by it.
Neighborhoods have a strong identity in this city. Neighborhood names were changing back then, and the names fed into an identity of the neighborhood that was becoming really very compelling. These neighborhoods were emerging as real forces in the community. I mean, people recognized that these were not neighborhoods to be abandoned, these were neighborhoods to be saved. And that feeling, I think, permeates throughout the entire community. But the ultimate goal is to have a sustaining community that serves the interest of everyone in the community economically and culturally in ways that they would want to continue to live here. And that's what our goal is.
Louisiana Landmarks is so proud to offer these awards because we need to cherish and celebrate anytime buildings are renewed and restored, and that they can continue for the future.
Eleanor McMain Secondary High School, honoring New Orleans Public Schools, Concordia Architects, Tuna Construction, C. Spencer Smith AIA, Carr, Riggs & Ingram, and Specs Guy Specifications Consultant. The team at Concordia Architects led the transformation of Eleanor McMain Secondary High School from a mildew-covered faded eyesore to the colorful period landmark it is today. Built in 1931 as a high school for girls, the building reflects the popular Art Deco style of its time. Its decorative features include vertical accents, sculpture in relief, and cast stone ornament. A 1932 newspaper article described its original exterior painting as, quote, a symphony of riotous, splashing color. With this source in mind, the present renovation has adopted a bright new color scheme that highlights the building's Aztec Revival style ornament. Self-cleaning acrylic paint was used to promote resistance to water intrusion and efflorescence. The project also made needed repairs to interior walls and restored historic frame and metal windows and doors. While planning the renovation and to qualify for tax credits, Concordia worked with Orleans Parish school officials and the State Historic Preservation Office to preserve and restore the building's decades-old historic characteristics. Much of architect Edgar Christie's original design was preserved or recreated, including lighting and planting fixtures. Today, the school complex includes the original building and auditorium and a new gymnasium designed in a compatible style. McMain High School is once again a source of pride to its community. (131) South Jefferson Davis Avenue. Honoring CGK Realty Partners, LLC, New Orleans Redevelopment Fund II, Albert Architecture, Morphy Makovsky Incorporated, Moses Engineers, Hernandez Consulting and Construction, Crescent Growth Capital, LLC, Carr, Riggs & Ingram. In 1905, the evangelistic Central Baptist Church was founded in a simple wooden structure in Mid-City. In 1939, to accommodate its growing congregation, church leaders constructed a new auditorium adjacent to its original building. While the interior sanctuary was designed with minimal ornamentation, the exterior exhibited bold and exuberant flourishes in the Mayan Revival style. Abandoned and vacant for over a decade, this rare local example of modernist style has been restored and repurposed for multi-unit residential use. The developer, New Orleans Redevelopment Fund II, recognized the potential of this unusual property and charged the architects with converting the space for multifamily occupancy while retaining the salient architectural and stylistic features. With the use of historic tax credits, the team created 20 residential units in the existing space. Removal of drop ceilings and partitions revealed the dramatic volume and features of the original sanctuary, including the baptismal font and curved steel trusses. The font became the focal point of the entry hall and common gathering space. Living units were then incorporated in the design, including an interior sky bridge that connects the sanctuary's second level with an annex building. 2 recessed penthouse units were added inside the roof volume of the annex. The steel trusses, wood roof decking, and metal railings were restored and exposed to provide lofty 2-story living spaces. Exterior historic cast stone and plaster details were repaired and restored. This restoration project adds greatly to the streetscape of the Mid-City National Register Historic District. The Rendon, honoring the Rendon Partners, LLC, Roth Law Firm, Trappel & Pier Architects, McRosty Historic Advisors, LLC, Ryan Guti General Contractors, Robert Bouchon Consulting Engineer, IMC Consulting Engineers Incorporated, Spackman Mossop Michaels, Carr, Riggs & Ingram. The turn of the 20th century brought an influx of families to the Bayou St. John area. With it came a demand for more neighborhood schools, and in 1904, the firm of Andrea and Bindernagel was commissioned to construct McDonough No. 31. It was built in the Spanish Renaissance style, which the Times-Picayune called at the time one of the most modern school buildings in the city, situated in a thriving and fast-growing part of New Orleans. In 1995, the elementary school's name was changed to honor African-American leader Morris F.X. Jeff. But the Orleans Parish School Board shuttered the school after Hurricane Katrina, and it developed into an abandoned eyesore. Today, the converted school houses 26 apartments, offering modern amenities and architectural design work that highlights the historic interior components. The Rendon Partners acquired the property in 2017 and enlisted the seasoned team of Trappel & Pier Architects and Ryan Guti General Contractors to oversee the restoration of the century-old building. The building's historic fabric was preserved as required for the historic tax credits, and the original floor plan was reconfigured for a residential conversion. Demising walls between the classrooms were retained, along with a wide linear character of the second and third floor corridors. Interior doors, transoms, and trim were maintained and restored, and the original mosaic floors were replicated as necessary. The unfinished attic presented a particular design challenge, but it was transformed into usable living space, with lofted apartments and a central corridor. The Schoolhouse, honoring LM Development, Rome Office, Spackman, Mossop, Michaels, Howell Consultants, Jolly Consultants, Pace Group, Fricker Historic Preservation Services, LO Specs, CDW Services, Neil Alexander. McDonough No. 30 was constructed in 1894, most likely according to the design of architect William Frett. It served as the primary school for its Third Ward neighborhood until the late 1930s, followed by several decades as city offices and a police training division. In 1953, the building reopened as a school until closing in 1976. It sat vacant until the late 1980s when New Orleans' first African-American radio station, WYLD, purchased the school and converted it into offices and a recording studio. The imposing structure remained a neighborhood landmark with its vibrant confection of late Victorian eclectic architectural motifs. Over the years, however, its historic and unique architectural features disappeared piece by piece, including the porch, turrets, parapets, and ornamental frieze. This honored project has restored a significant building to its prominence in the streetscape while repurposing it for residential use. The Dauntless Restoration Team did extensive research to document the history of the building in order to recapture and replicate its late 19th century appearance and picturesque exterior elements. The interior schoolhouse plan, classrooms, central corridors, and grand staircase was retained. The classrooms were transformed into 12 one-bedroom apartments by placing an innovative box for living in the center of each space. Although zoning regulations would have allowed a new 7-story building on the site, the developers opted instead to restore the architecturally and culturally significant property and the Preservation Resource Center's facade easement program. Convent Building, St. Michael's Special School, honoring Archdiocese of New Orleans, Holly and Smith Architects, Volkel McWilliams Construction, ADG Engineering, Heaslip Engineering, and Carr, Riggs and Ingram. Religious institutions named after St. Michael have been located on Annunciation Square and served this community for over 150 years. They include St. Michael's Church, circa 1869, the original St. Michael's School, circa 1875, and St. Michael's Special School, founded in 1965 by Archbishop Philip Hannon. The schools were served by the Sisters of the St. Alphonsus Convent of Mercy, located in an 1850s Greek Revival double townhouse at the corner of Race Street. This historic residence was later used for storage until its deterioration and alterations rendered it unsafe. This honored project restored this handsome townhouse to its mid-19th century exterior appearance and re-established the original residential floor plan. Located behind and connected to the convent is a new strikingly simple modern student chapel. The team carefully replicated the convent's post-supported galleries and prominent cornice, reconnecting the school to the streetscape of its lower Garden District neighborhood. On the interior, the stair hall was retained and double parlors adapted as classrooms. The Greek Revival-style door casings and plaster crown moldings were carefully refurbished. Using modern materials to differentiate new construction from the historic, special attention was given to the design of the new chapel to ensure its dimensions and styling respected the townhouse. Stained glass windows from the old church were installed in the chapel, signifying its continued religious use and providing a connection to its historic origins. The team utilized financial assistance derived from using historic tax credits to complete this impressive blend of the old and the new. We hope you enjoyed the award-winning projects with us. Visit our website, louisianalandmarks.org, where you'll find links to all the episodes in this series, the complete awards digital catalog, and a map for the self-guided driving tour of this exemplary work. Congratulations again to the winning teams, and thanks to the many sponsors and patrons who made this series possible. Please join Louisiana Landmarks Society by becoming a member and support the preservation of the unique architectural legacy of our city.